Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, people of Earth. Welcome to the fucking news with me, Deke Jackson, on the 5th of November. 5th of November 2021. Happy Guy, folks. In Britain, we're burning Catholic effigies and dancing round the bonfire. Isn't that nice? For all you woke, tolerant, peace, love and unity people, today is a day when we celebrate hundreds of years of persecution of religious crazy people. I mean, all religious people are crazy, but Catholicism or Christianity in general is particularly crazy. I mean, you know, especially crazy because it says before you were born even, you're a sinner. You've done bad things. Just being born makes you bad. Doesn't that strike you as being crazy? I mean, you know, what other animal has to put up with that in their fucking life? You know, Bambi didn't have to put up with that. Bambi, welcome to the forest. You're a sinner. God hates you, Bambi. What is it about humans that makes us special compared to other animals? We are animals, you know. You piss, shit, and fucking die just like all the other animals. So why are we different? Why are we sinners and badgers can just get born, grow up and die, rot away, whatever they like, but we're sinners. According to the creator of the universe, that is. The creator of the universe, right? He created everything. He, right, created everything and made us bad at birth so that we needed his redemption and forgiveness in order to be saved. Sounds like a scam to me. Anyway, happy November the 5th. And if you're into burning Catholic effigies and dancing around the fire, I hope you have a lot of fun. A lot of people are confused about our history in Britain. While we're now all very tolerant and, we extend a lot of respect to religious people, that wasn't the case in the past. In fact, for hundreds of years, it was the law that today everybody had to go to church and hear a 2-hour-long polemic speech about how evil Catholics were, and that's why we killed them all, burned all their churches and monasteries, and forbid the monarch to ever be a Catholic ever again. A law which was only changed very recently in the last couple of years. And then, of course, there were the hundreds and hundreds of years where Jewish people weren't allowed to own property in this country in case they started taking over our institutions and manipulating public affairs. Nice. I'm nostalgic. I am nostalgic for the past. I am. So today's news, anyway, to get on with. The headline here says there's a day of chaos in Downing Street because of a screeching U-turn on yesterday's sleazemongering, right? I mean, it's only a day since the Tory party alone were going to overturn parliamentary laws on the investigation of corruption by MPs. They were going to overturn these laws and create new ones all by themselves in order to save one of their own fucking boys. Their own boys from the club. A personal friend of Boris Johnson, in fact. And I think the headline, instead of a day of chaos, it should be a day of cunts. Is there nothing we can do about these obvious lying, trough-snorting pigs, fleecing the taxpayer of their money and pretending that it's for our own good? Yeah, is there really nothing? How about drug tests and lie detector tests? Just to be on the safe side, I mean, it may only have marginal efficacy in the grand scheme of things, but wouldn't it be nice to see people who profess that they're working for your benefit being tested to see if they are in fact drug-addled, corrupt sleazebags? Just in case. I mean, seeing as they do, they test train drivers for drugs. And I mean, I'm never on a train, barely. They test bus drivers and, people who work offshore for drugs. How about the people who pass the laws being tested for drugs and asked to pass a lie detector? Just the occasional, maybe just an annual, have you been a lying, stealing tully at any point in the last year? And let's have some, publish those results, maybe on Facebook. Here's a nice story. A television network specifically for dogs and their owners is set to launch in the UK on Monday. Can't think of a better country for it. I myself have a dog. Dog TV, nice, good name, imaginative. How long did that take the guys in the back room? Dog TV. Where's Cat TV? Given the number of cute cat videos on YouTube, you'd think Cat TV would follow shortly, eh? I don't imagine Budgie and Hamster TV have got the same demographic. Probably not. Goldfish TV certainly doesn't. You know, they're here today, gone tomorrow. Anyway, the Dog TV will air scientifically tested programming to alleviate symptoms from conditions such as separation anxiety, loneliness and stress. And that's just for the owners. It will also have shows that help owners understand their pets. I had a lot of dogs. I grew up with dogs in the family, and I think I can help you if you don't understand your dog. A dog basically is thinking all the time about eating, pissing, shitting or fucking. That's what it's thinking about. And if it's not thinking about that, it's thinking, why aren't you stroking me? Don't you know I run this pack? Because dogs are pack animals, and they are consumed by their status in the pack, or lack of it thereof. And so they want at all times to know whether or not they are still okay. So you've got to pat them on the head, say good boy, and then they'll go back to eating, piss, shitting and fucking. Your legs, the cushions, your guests, whatever. Dogs are not complicated. That's why I like them. Dogs are really not complicated. There's no deceit, there's no conniving, there's no hiding, there's no pretending. Dogs are exactly, when you look at a dog's face, that's what he's thinking and doing. Dogs live in the moment exclusively. I don't think they have much of a concept of the past or the future, but although they will be impressed. If your dog doesn't like fireworks, it's because it was impressed and did not like fireworks once in the past. But it doesn't work quite like a memory. Dogs live in the moment. There's no deceit, no deception, no hiding what's on a dog's mind. Anyway, moving on to some other animals. The Queen has flown to Sandringham by helicopter. I thought she was sick. She's too sick to attend COP26. Perhaps she doesn't want to be associated with failure. Or perhaps she's worried Greta will egg her. The Queen flew from Windsor Castle to Sandringham after being cleared by her doctors. Are doctors working in flight control now, air traffic control? Clear the helicopter for takeoff and go. I don't know. Anyway, it says here, blah, 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 blah. This will be her first Christmas. She's flown to Sandringham to prepare for Christmas. Bit early, although, you know, Tesco's already got the Christmas decorations up. She's being looked after by her medical household, and it's understood that she has largely given up drinking following the death of Prince Philip. What's his death got to do with her? Was she drinking his blood? Is that what she's given up, drinking his blood? Prince Philip, of course, famously, Prince Philip's blood was made up exclusively of sacrificed infants. That's how he lived to be so old and looked like a monster. Because Prince Philip feasted entirely on the death, on the blood of dead infants or living infants. Probably had racks of them in the cellar, you know, hooked up like a little shop of horrors. And so the Queen can't drink Prince Philip's blood anymore because he's dead and it's all coagulated. Maybe he lost the key to the cellar full of sacrificed infants that the royals were drinking. Actually, I believe the Queen is the reincarnation of Queen Victoria, or indeed Queen Victoria herself, who's still alive. They just pretend that it's a new woman. Blah, blah, blah. The sleaze in the UK, the sleaze, the attempt by Boris Johnson to overturn and change the laws, parliamentary laws, on how we investigate corruption by MPs. Now, the story in the papers is that his good friend Owen Paterson was at risk of losing his job as an MP because of the recall, the ability of voters to get rid of MPs who turn out to be corrupt. However, according to Boris Johnson's former chief advisor, Dominic Cummings, says the Prime Minister is attempting to cover up his own illegal donations and is worried that shortly, in the near future, the processes and laws which still stand at this moment will be used to find him out and reveal that he himself has been corruptly taking payments and illegal donations. And it says here the Prime Minister has been referred to the Parliamentary Commission on Standards for a Christmas trip to the Caribbean and the redecorating of his flat, blah, 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 blah. Among many other Tory MPs who've been referred, including Ian Duncan Smith and Theresa Villiers, both hideous vampires of the taxpayer. So good. I'm glad, at least, that there's there's some teeth in the gummy parliamentary protest. But I wouldn't hold out any hope of any of these people facing real justice. Coronavirus news now. Let's deal with the big one first. Pandemic is the headline by Taz Ali. Countries around the world are reintroducing measures against COVID as cases surge because they can't rely upon vaccines alone. I'm sorry, what was that? What was that? You can't rely on the vaccine. What's the vaccine for then? Netherlands has brought back COVID measures. Dr. Simon Williams, a behavioural scientist at Swansea. That's not an epidemiologist or a virologist, isn't it? He says you can't rely on just vaccines. We need a plan B, including corona passes, showing proof of COVID vaccinations or recent negative coronavirus tests, extended to venues, cafes, restaurants, museums, gyms, outdoor terraces. Really? You're gonna need, wait, let's just go over that again. You're going to need a vaccine passport to be outdoors. What? Yes, here we have it. Outdoor terraces. Now, an outdoor terrace, is that like the football? Or is this like where you go to a cafe and it's got seats outside? That's kind of Mediterranean terrace. I'm going to need a fucking coronavirus passport to sit outside. Are you shitting me? When it is known already scientifically, having the vaccine does not stop you being infectious. In fact, you are just as infectious. It was on the BBC, the truth shall set you free. The double jabbed and soon to be the triple jabbed are just as infectious as me, the unvaccinated. So why would I need a fucking passport to sit outside? What the fuck? Blah, 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 blah. And so, to follow on from that story about vaccine passports, in Scotland, the Scottish government has got vaccine passports in place. But the Deputy First Minister, John Swinney, says there's no way for us to know whether these vaccine passport schemes are working. It's impossible to segment the data and determine that it is working. Well, obviously, there may be an impact on nighttime industries, 40% footfall reduction. Closures, we're trying to avoid these things. The case numbers and numbers in hospital are getting worse. No mention of deaths. In fact, there were a couple of days last week where nobody died in Scotland. Scotland recorded 33 deaths in the past 24 hours. Blah, blah, blah. Reflecting on the meeting. Oh, here he is. He's saying, we want to get people who are unvaccinated to sit with and have conversations with the bereaved relatives of those who lost loved ones in care homes. Why? If you're in a care home, you're old and sick and dying anyway. The fuck has it got to do with me if I'm unvaccinated and your granny dies, who's 83.4, because she's in a care home? No, talk about, this is worse than slut shaming. You know, I mean, slut shaming's bad enough, but the unvaccinated are now becoming pariahs beyond the pale. There's nothing they won't do to us. They've got plans to do stuff to the unvaccinated, apparently, you wouldn't believe. Well beyond making you sit with bereaved families. My granny died because of unvaccinated people. Don't you understand? Fuck off. Fuck off and die yourself. It's my life. It's my life. It's always been my life. And it's your life. Hey, I've got an idea. If you feel so strongly about it, how about you wrestle me to the ground and force me to have it? I dare you. Come on. I fucking dare you. I dare any government anywhere in the world to forcefully vaccinate cogent, sane adults. I fucking dare you. Let's see how that goes down. Until then, fuck you all. Fuck the vaccinated. Fuck your dead granny. I will not be having the vaccine, and I will not be acceding to any of your manipulation or blackmail or intimidation. Fuck you. Fuck you and your beige clothes wearing old people dying in care homes. I may sound insensitive and self-interested, but that's because I am, so it's hard to hide that. What else have we got? A man admits to killing 2 women and sexually abusing dozens of corpses. A hospital electrician admitted murdering and then sexually assaulting 2 women and then going on to sexually abuse dozens of corpses in mortuaries. David Fuller filmed himself sexually abusing bodies at 2 hospitals in Kent. They were dead good looking, he said. They were dead gorgeous. The NHS said it's launched a review of mortuary access and post-mortem activities. What do they mean they're reviewing it? Because like previously, was it okay to fuck dead people in the mortuary? Was that a practice that was an ongoing practice? Yeah, we're reviewing the practice of letting people fuck corpses. We are. We're going to look into maybe changing that practice. We're reviewing these practices because people apparently, now that people know we were doing that, they're not too happy about it. Climate change, flop 26. Greta Thunberg is leading a demonstration as we speak in Glasgow. I mean, I would like to have gone there, but my hands were deep inside the bowels of my engine, removing the turbo from my transit van. So I couldn't get there. And I've now successfully removed the turbo, and I hope that tomorrow a replacement, I have to swap it. It's this thing where you send your knackered part away and they send you a good one. It's a bit like a hostage swap, isn't it? Like the Bridge of Spies in Berlin or something. Do you have the turbo? Yes, I have the turbo. Okay, good turbo for bad turbo. All right. So that's why I couldn't go anywhere today. But they're already talking about the next steps. The next steps after COP26. And the reason we need next steps is because COP26 didn't accomplish anything. It really didn't. It was a chance for world leaders to come together collectively and say, nah. It's close to meh, right? Nah. It's sort of like meh, but it's more like, nah, I'm not doing that. We're not doing that. Brazil's not doing it. India's not doing it. China's not doing it. Russia's not doing it. So, nah, we're not doing it. Instead of nations and corporations having to do anything, you and I have got to do stuff. You've got to recycle your farts, and you've got to put a jumper on and turn your heating down. Because at the end of the day, it is your fault. After all, you did fuck the planet. And finally, oh yeah, in America, the Democrats have lost a couple of elections, a couple of election setbacks. Joe Biden says that he sees no reason for panic, but then he can barely see anything at all. The president said the electorate's mood and democratic fortunes will improve when he gets Congress to pass his domestic agenda. All right, blah, blah, blah. I think we just have to produce results. Their standard of living is going to change. I guarantee it, people of America. I guarantee your standard of living is going to change. Here's some things I guarantee for you. I'm going to go out on a limb here, right? And predict your gas prices are going up. Your food prices are going up. Prices for materials are going up. They've already gone up, but they're going up more. Everything is going up. And the reason everything is going up is there's a couple of reasons everything is going up. First of all, your government printed trillions of dollars. In fact, nearly a third of all the dollars in the world were printed in the last 18 months. And that's kind of like, you know, devaluing your currency. That's pretty much what it is. You are devaluing your currency when you print it. So then you need more of the currency to buy stuff. You can see how that works there. That's one reason. The other reason is the rest of the world is catching on and catching up. However much we try to use climate change as a way of beating down the brown people in Africa, India, and the yellow man, they're full tilt, pedal to the metal, you know, foot to the floor. And so supply and demand. If there's not as much as everything, the price goes up. And if you devalue your currency, you need more of it to buy stuff. That really is about it. There wasn't anything particularly... oh, one last story. I like this. Israel's begun testing a new missile detection system. It's a balloon designed to hover at high altitude and identify long-range threats. I wouldn't think that... Gaza's not that far away, is it? And I'm sure Israel has satellites as well. Anyway, whatever their plans for detecting missiles are, let's just look at the past, shall we? In recent Gaza conflicts, Hamas fired rockets at Tel Aviv in an attempt to, kill Israelis. But Israeli officials say they shot down 90% of the projectiles and targeted Palestinians as a result. And the figures are just in. Israel killed 250 Palestinians and 10 Israelis died. That is 25 to 1. That's a kill rate of 25 to 1. Woo! Way to go, Israel. I'm broadly in favour of everybody having a homeland. The Scottish have got one. I'm not against Israel having a homeland per se. It's just that if you have to kill everybody else who's already there to get it, it seems a bit harsh. The Kurds are the biggest ethno-religious group on earth without a homeland. They used to have one, but Britain took it away because it was landlocked and there was no port to land the shock troops on. So the people of Kurdistan owe their statelessness to the British Empire. Who did the Israelis owe their statelessness to? How did they come to be stateless? Was it the Romans? I mean, it was never their state anyway. It was never their country. Jerusalem was a city-state. It was. The people of Jerusalem were just the people who lived in that city and the lands around them. So I'm not entirely sure how biblically even they come to lay claim to the entire fucking country of Palestine. Because biblically and historically speaking, it was just Jerusalem and the land around it. Certainly wasn't the Golan Heights and the fucking Gaza Strip and the West Bank. But, let's let that slide since they are powerful, rich and heavily armed. Also, if I were the people of Palestine, man, I'd jettison those Hamas wankers. Really? You're just not being well served. What you want to do is all become lesbian, gay, bisexual, trans people. We love lesbian, gay, bisexual, trans people. We really do. If all of the people in Palestine, Gaza and the West Bank, they were LGBT, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, we would step in and save you in a heartbeat. We really would. Honestly, the wokeness of the world would descend upon the Gaza Strip and invite you all to a conference about the rights of transgender people. And Israelis would be cancelled in a heartbeat. Look what happened to Kevin Spacey. Although it's funny that, isn't it? Because Kevin Spacey, right, he was a gay man, apparently, and he's been cancelled because he might have touched a waiter's bottom 20 years ago. But the Catholic Church can rape and kill children for hundreds and hundreds of years, and they're still making movies. Kevin Spacey, not making movies anymore. Catholic Church, still making movies. Jewish people, still killing people every day in Palestine. Kevin Spacey, not making any movies anymore. But yeah, that's my advice. Get rid of Hamas, people of Palestine, and convert to being lesbian, gay, sexual, bi, transsexual, something or other. Something like that. It'll be much better for you. in the long run. Thanks for watching the fucking news. I'm off to buy a replacement turbo. That will be fun, and I look forward to refitting it because it will be the opposite of what it was getting it out. I hope you're going to have something fun to do today, whatever's left of it for you, because today is as good as it's going to get, and tomorrow there'll be more sucky stuff along, so have fun. Cheers.